Good morning, good afternoon, good evening guys, welcome to We Are Talking, and today we are talking about Webtoons, or more specifically should I say action Webtoons. I'll be going through the app, showing you the different Webtoons that I've been reading, the different action Webtoons I've been reading, and how I feel about them, put them into a tier list, and if you guys agree or disagree, feel free to comment down below in the comment section, and let me know whether you stuck around with any of these different comics, or whether you dropped them, and as to why. There will be 20 different comics, which when I was making this tier list, I was actually surprised that I actually read 20 different ones. Some of them have like 400 chapters and stuff like that, which is absolutely mind-blowing. But when you see the title of some of these stories, you understand why a lot of them are easy to binge. Now, as this is a new channel, I want you guys to leave recommendations as to what kind of content you'd like to see on this channel, as I have other channels where they're a little bit more established. I wanted to just kind of have a breath of fresh air, my own little blue ocean, and just have some fun on here. So I'll leave a link to the tier list that I made on the tier list maker down below. Will be my official account as well, and if you want to use this tier list for your own purposes, feel free to do so. If you want to see a part 2, or if I've missed out specific comics that you're like, Chris, you said you've done action but you've missed out on this kind of series, feel free to leave the recommendations down below in the comment section, and I'll probably do a part 2, especially if some of the ones that may be on the lower part of the tiers, I may end up moving up or shifting up in the tier list, or some of the ones which are a bit high, maybe in hindsight I can bring them down as well. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. If you do, hit a thumbs up, subscribe for more, and let's get into. Alright, so we're now on the tier list maker that I made. Once again, this will be in the description down below, so feel free to add to it if you want to, but let's just go through the different tiers first before we start. So the highest tier is the My Wallet is Empty. That's the God tier. That's when you've used all your coins. You know, when like you've caught up, but then you're like, I'm gonna just keep spending money so I can just read the future chapters because the storyline is that good. Next, we have the coins were used and I will recommend. You know, every now and then you're like, do I use a coin? Do I not use a coin? So you don't use a coin all the time, but you know, they're used. On the one below that is Not So Guilty Pleasure / regular read, so you'll know where to put some of those ones. Below that we have the Good at First / guilty pleasure, or Good at First and then became a guilty pleasure, where it's like, can I recommend it? I don't know, but I do enjoy reading it. And then you have the I have not read enough / I put it down. So this was with all the different webtoons that I've read, so I think there's around 20 here. I know there's a lot more action webtoons, and some of you might even like, I know you might be like, is that even an action webtoon for some of these? So I apologize, but yeah, so we're going to start with what's on the screen. So we'll start with Omniscient Reader. Now, Omniscient Reader was an interesting one because premise wise, I think it just worked out really well, but then what is it? I feel like this whole thing of like being isekai'd and then being reincarnated into another world in webtoons, in comics, in anime has been kind of done quite a bit, if you know what I mean. I know the game was one of the original ones to do this, but I felt like with this one, it was different. Maybe because it's to do with a novel and like, it seems a bit more intellectual. Initially, I really liked that about the story, but my problem is the amount of reading. Like, I know that like you're going to be like, well, yeah, you got to read. No. Some of the pages have pages like Hunter x Hunter, and I'm like, bruh, like I don't know. So as much as I enjoyed it, the art is amazing, the storyline is pretty intense, but maybe I'm just not smart enough for it. So the Omniscient Reader, I'm gonna put into the Not So Guilty Pleasure / regular read, because I did read it regularly, but I'm not gonna lie, I didn't use any of my coins to actually progress with it. So yeah, what did you think of Omniscient Reader? Okay, so next we will go to what we have here, the Advanced Player. So if I click on that, all right, so where am I? So on this, I'm on chapter 93. All right, so bearing in mind when this came out, so 93 out of 129. When this came out, I did spend quite a few coins because I liked the premise, this whole tower concept, which once again has been tried and tested several times in a webtoon storyline. But maybe for me, because the main character just doesn't care, he really doesn't care. He has like this slight Saitama effect. I feel like that could be in a video in itself, the Saitama effect of main characters. But yeah, I mean, he was really done dirty at the beginning of this story, to the point of where I think like I don't really remember per se because it was ages ago when I read the first chapter, but he basically completed all the levels in the tower and then he should have been let go, but he didn't. So he ended up repeating the tower, like I think it was like hundreds or thousands of times, to the point of where by the time he'd been let go of the tower, this is like early days of the storyline, he ran through all the layers of the tower faster and faster and faster and faster, to a point where he was a mad OP like One Punch Man. But what I like is that his moves, once again, like One Punch Man, are so irrelevant that he uses his slipper, and it's just like, when everyone's so serious in the story and then the main character isn't, I just love that. So with this, I'm going to put the advanced player, I'm going to put him in coins were used and will recommend. You have read the storyline before, and if you've completed the game or you're up to date with the gamer, you'll see similarities, but personally I found this a bit funnier. So yeah, so advanced player, I'm going to put coins were used and will recommend, so that's the equivalent of an A. Next we have Eliseed. Okay, so this might be the first my wallet is empty god tier. Whenever chapters are released, I'm there. I'm spending monies. Literally, okay. So the fast pass, I still have some fast pass, only because I like a few months ago I did all the fast pass and I was up to date, and then I felt like I was craving something. Like I had to go cold turkey for a bit so that I could catch up with the storyline again. So with this one, I'm gonna put it into my wallet is empty god tier. Let me know your thoughts on that. The art in this is amazing. The action is freaking epic, like so epic. You can feel how intense the moves are, and but at the same time it's so funny. So Eliseed, if there's a series that I wish could be animated, Eliseed has to be done, and that's one of the few ones where I hope it is done by Mappa, if it is done. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on Eliseed as a story and as a webtoon. Alright, next we have Get Schooled. Now with this one, I'm on chapter 64 out of 97, so I'm actually a lot further back than I thought with this one. Alright, so with this storyline, once again, the art is pretty cool. It's pretty decent. I give the art like an 8 out of 10. It is a shared universe with, I think, with Hanlin's gym and something else. I think so. Like quite a few of these stories do have like a shared universe, and it just works so well. Is it also Lookism? I'm not too sure, but I will have to do research into seeing which storylines or which webtoons are all connected. But with Get Schooled, the premise itself is what put it for me in like an A tier straight from the get-go. The fact that students in schools are so terrible that the government had to put back in place that teachers could basically hit the kids. It is what it is. Not necessarily teachers in schools, but they would bring in outside sources that would come into the schools and then discipline the kids. It sounds kind of mad, and you're probably thinking, oh, why would that even work? Yo, some of these children are straight up psychopaths, and the amount of times that I've been like, hit that fucking kid, just hit him. So I put this one, it became a guilty pleasure. Even though I really did enjoy it, I don't think I enjoyed it as much as the advanced player, but I put it at the same as Omniscient Reader. Because once you put it down, it's like, once you remove the whole action and the premise, you have kind of seen this whole high school bullying situation kind of storyline done a lot, especially in a lot of these action webtoons. It's a regular read. So yeah, I'm gonna put Get Schooled in Not So Guilty and a regular read. Alright, next we have God of High School. I've completed God of High School, so if I... wait, let me scrub down. Yeah, you can see. Okay, so pretty much I've read all of them apart from the spin-offs. God of High School, the potential for God of High School was 10/10. At points, I loved it. At points, it was God tier and above. It was God of High School tier. That's where like that's why I want to put God of High School. But then there came points where like literally they just kept on resetting. Things would happen, and every time I'd read it, I'd wonder, how on earth are they going to survive this? And then there's like another power up and another power. Basically, they end up having the same problem as Dragon Ball Z, where they get so strong that the villains that they get in become mad OP, but then it's like, but when they defeat them, the villain after that don't even make sense anymore. And it's like, how are some of you surviving? There's a lot of plot holes, and as much as I wanted it to be a God tier, I'm going to put a not so guilty pleasure tier, because by the end I would put it as a guilty pleasure, but there were many points when it was a God tier for me, so I'm going to put God of High School in the not so guilty, yeah, a B. Alright, and then next we have, what should I go? Nah, you know what? Let's go to Jungle Juice. So with Jungle Juice, I'll put Jungle Juice in coins were used and will recommend. I know some of you might be freaking hating me right now, thinking, Chris, you're putting Jungle Juice above God of High School? Yeah, I might have to. Do you know what it is? I'm glad that I'm like, the thing is about having a tier list and having it all visualized right in front of you is you can actually kind of understand, like, and really get, is this really, does this really make sense? Because personally, LSD I enjoyed more than the advanced player of the tower, and I enjoyed more than Jungle Juice. But those two I enjoyed more than the three below them. Jungle Juice end up getting to episode 75 out of 84. And then it's been on break since September 15th, 2022. So I think I've done pretty well. I actually had kind of forgotten, to be honest. If I had been up to date like I am with LSE, then I'd put it in potential God tier. But because it's still early days, I'm gonna leave it in coins were used. But I have literally used all my coins to read the chapters of Jungle Juice, so that's why I'm going to put them in A tier. The reason why, first of all, the art I really like. The characters are interesting. It reminds me a little bit of My Hero Academia, but not teenagers, more the university kind of side of it. And also the quirks are more like curses, and nobody. And also with this, the quirks are all based on insects, and I find that kind of interesting because I hate insects. So it's almost like a way for me to slowly get more understanding about bugs and things, even though I would never in my real life actually go anywhere near anything like that. But they talk about that premise in that, and I think it's so real that the violence is mad. Yeah. So you know what? Yeah, I'm happy with this. If it had more chapters, I'd probably put it in the LSE tier as well. LSE is its own tier. But for now, I'm happy with where I've placed it. Next, we will go to, I know some of you are thinking, oh, go here, go there. But I'm taking my time. So next, we're going to go to Purple Hyacinth. Okay, so with Purple Hyacinth, where did I even get to? I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't like Purple Hyacinth. I don't know why. Maybe it's the art. It didn't really. I'm just looking for it right now. I can't even freaking see it. Maybe the art just didn't do it for me. Something about the art just didn't do it for me, and it just felt slow. I did try to read it. I think I've read like, I don't know, 5 chapters, I guess, or something like that. But it just bogged me down. I don't even remember what the fucking storyline was about. But what I do remember, I did try to read it, but yeah, just not my cup of tea. Let me know your thoughts on Purple Hyacinth. But yeah, so I have not read enough, / I put it down because it fits into both of those. So now I feel like this tier list is actually being built up properly. We shall move on to another one which I didn't. Oh no, you know what? Unordinary. I felt like the beginning of the story is different to where it currently is right now, which makes a lot of sense because that's the whole point of growth and character development. But with Unordinary, it's like there are points of Unordinary where I also paid my coins. So I'm on chapter 2, episode 276 out of 300. So I'm fairly up to date. Like I'm not even joking to you. I'm really up to date. So let me just bring it up here so y'all can see. I am not kidding. I'm pretty much up to date. The issue with this is the art isn't the strongest out of all of these at all, really. I think it's probably on the weaker side. Once again, it has this whole like quirks thing, kind of like My Hero Academia, but I like as well, what I do prefer to the others is how they've got the whole political aspect of it, and how the politics doesn't even run in the school, how it goes further beyond into just general society, and they really go into depth into it. Once again, how are these teenagers beating up all these adults, and how they're getting away with like all these bruises, and some of the violence in this is kind of mad. Sometimes I'm like, how are you not dead? But yeah, people are kind of annoying in this, and they could kind of talk more to each other. So there's things in it where I'm like, but Unordinary, there are times when like I did use my coins, but in the end, Unordinary became a not so guilty pleasure and a regular read. So yeah, even though I'm only like 20-30 chapters from like up to date, I'm not in a rush, you know. I'm not in a rush. All right, so next we will go to another one, which, oh my god, this is actually a really tough. Okay, well, what should I go to? All right, This one here, study group. I'm going to put study group in, drum rolls please, study group will go into coins were used. Oh my god, it's a tough one. If I could make a tier between coins were used and this one, I'd give it, it's like a A minus, which kind of sucks because fuck it. Study group, I'm gonna put there because when I read study group, where even am I in study group? that's the true question. Like, you will know how much you enjoy something depending on where you are in the chapters. So I'm on chapter 62 of 71. So just to show you guys, I'm on chapter 62 of 71. So you know I'm not capping. Yeah, I like this storyline. I think it's also connected with Get Schooled and something else. I'm probably chatting shit. I will, if you guys know I'm chatting shit, then leave it in the comment section and be like, "No, Chris, these are the webtoons that are connected." I'd love to kind of actually have the correct answers and stuff. But study group, I did enjoy. I like the premise that like the main character doesn't want to be a delinquent. He's actually a goody two shoes because it kind of reminds me of myself. When I was in school, I was pretty much a goody two shoes. I was head boy in my school. I was like an in-betweener on the positive side. So like I was friends with everybody and I was quite athletic when it came to like my later years of school. So like, yeah, and I like learning, I like studying, I like learning new skills and stuff. So I felt like it's about time that they make stories about actual education and stuff, until it gets into the mad hyper violence of the delinquency of the school and what the is going on in the storyline. The action is mad. But yeah, it's the same universe as Get Schooled. I just remembered because of the fuckeries that happens in this. They are like, yeah, I'm not gonna go into it, but yeah. So you'd think Get Schooled would be up there as well, but I low-key prefer Study Group over Get Schooled because I felt like they handled some of the violence a bit better in Study Group until the most recent chapters, hence why I'm not totally up to date. But coins were used and I will recommend. So let me know your thoughts on that as well. Next, we're going to go to Viral Hit. So with Viral Hit, I'm going to put... so Viral Hit is a tough one because the main character is freaking annoying, but he also has a lot of growth, which I feel like a lot of the best stories have. Like even with Hunter x Hunter, I couldn't really watch the anime because I felt like it was just a bit too childish kind of seeming until it went into a storyline, and I was like, god damn, it's my favorite anime of all time. Same thing with like Made in Abyss, where it's like the first few episodes I was like, this is quite slow, and then when it went into a story I was like, make it slow again. So yeah, it's so Viral Hit, yeah. So when we're gonna put Viral Hit, I'm gonna put Viral Hit here. Yeah, coins will use and will recommend because I binged the hell out of that series. Where am I on Viral Hit? On Viral Hit, I am on... So, Viral Hit, chapter 148 of 155. Just to show you guys as well. So now with this one, I actually binged and paid a lot of coins to catch up with the storyline. So I wasn't able to read anything for a while because like I pretty much paid coins for all the ones that are up to date. So I gave it some time so I can catch up again. But what I like about this is it's even the main character can't fight for shit, you know, and he watches YouTube videos and he wants to be a YouTuber and doing this whole YouTube stuff. I kind of get it. And also being somebody who's not necessarily great at things straight away and has to build up on skills and stuff, I truly appreciate it and just felt a bit more realistic. And yeah, it's a really cool story and premise that I feel like anyone could really enjoy. Somehow, where they are right now, oh my goodness, how did we get to what we're doing right now? Kind of like in Lookism, but we'll talk about that later. It did kind of take me out of it, kind of like where we are right now, but the violence in it seems a bit more on the raw side compared to the violence in other ones. So yeah, I think, yeah, I think I'm happy with that. I think I'm happy with Viral Hit. So that's where I'll leave Viral Hit. Right, so next is a series which kind of let me down a little bit. When I say let me down, I don't mean because it was bad, but I mean because of how much I invested in it. In the same way as God of High School, like I just really enjoyed the premise of it, and I was really late to this story, to this webtoon of the gamer. But something about it just made me really like appreciate the main character, and also seeing his growth. Something about also like, you know, when you follow a character like the underdog from the get-go, and then you see how his mind works and how he stands compared to the rest of people with powers and and just it just felt kind of cool. And because it's one of the original ones of those, it's interesting to see how it's influenced other webtoons that are also on this list as well. So with the gamer. Where am I on the gamer? So with the gamer, I'm on chapter. Why is it saying I'm only there? Oh my god! I was gonna say only episode 52. No, so I'm on season 5, episode 52. So chapter 401. That's where I am at. So you can see, and then the last chapters is 442. So I'm not too far away. I would say like what 44 chapters away, which sounds far. But when you've read 400 chapters, it's alright. I ended up slowing down a bit because the main character became a bit too OP, and I didn't really feel like there were any threats, and I feel like that's a problem that comes along with a lot of these isekai kind of. This isn't an isekai because he's in his own world. So I think that's what makes it kind of fun as well. He's in his own world, kind of like the advanced player tutorial tile thing. They're in their own world, but then in that one he gets isekai elsewhere. So in this one, it's like the world is isekai itself, if that kind of makes sense, without giving away stuff. But overall, the art isn't the best, so the art brings it down a little bit. So already, wherever you think it would be, just bring it down one tier, just because the art's kind of whack. The main character's alright. Just alright, but the side characters are better than the main characters, and I like the lore that they use to make these stories. So overall, but it became boring. It became tried and just it became kind of boring. So as much as I enjoyed it, over time it started doing this. It peaked, and I spent coins, and then it started dipping. So in the end, I'm gonna put the gamer in not so guilty pleasure, regular read. Some of you are going to hate me because I know there are points of the story where it should be higher, but I'm going to put it here because honestly, looking at this list, I enjoyed the gamer, but I enjoyed the ones above a lot more. So yeah, what are your thoughts on my list so far? And do you agree with any of my points? Also, if you're going to give comments, try to not give any spoilers, just because I want people to feel like they can also just without feeling spoiled. So next we're going to go to Alright, so this one I've not read enough, but I did read a few chapters. I think I only like 4 chapters, but that's like the ultra alternate character. Yeah, I haven't read enough, so I'm not even going to try and lie. So I'm going to put this down here. I'm going to return in the future. And the only reason why I'm not even going to try and give info on that is because I remember reading a few chapters a while ago, and then I just kind of didn't continue, which says a lot considering how many webtoons I read. And trust me, if I like something, I like something. Also, I realized this audio is here twice, but hey, it is what it is. Next, the strongest florist. Now, the strongest florist, I don't think I've read that much of it, but I definitely enjoy it more. I definitely enjoy it more than the ones at the very bottom. So I'm not going to be that cruel and do that. But the strongest florist, where did I even get to in that? I think I got to chapter 9. Chapter 9 out of 115. Oh god, that's not good. But the art isn't the strongest, so I think that probably took me out of it. But the storyline was fairly decent. And it was interesting because this guy one of those huge people that just can't get a break, and everyone presumes that he's some like Lenny from Of Mice and Men kind of guy, when he's just got a big heart. You know, it's just like he just wants to be a florist, and then he gets isekai'd. What are the chances? But yeah, so it was a good at first. I'm definitely going to come back to it in the future. But for those of you who are up to date with the strongest florist, where are you putting it? What do you think of the story for where you are, and would you place it higher? And do you think I'd move it higher once I'm up to date? Okay, so next. Okay, so we've got quite a few gems here. It'll be interesting. So where we've now got the boxer. I'm just going to put this straight into God tier. The boxer was one of the first webtoons that made me broke. So yeah, I'm not going to give anything away. Watch the watch, read everything the Boxer. Yeah, 10 out of 10. Yeah, we're just gonna move on. The Boxer, if you know, you freaking know. Okay, next we have Tower of God. Tower of God, I'm gonna put coins were used and I will recommend. But the only reason why I may not necessarily I put it at the very top is because one, the art style is not the greatest out of these, but Tower of God is probably one of the longer ones out of these, and I feel like it's the one that obviously it's got an anime on Crunchyroll season 1, but even that only scratched the surface of what the true storyline will be. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know like if it's actually going to put people off. Oh, I'm up to date with Tower of God. Yeah. I'm up to date. I was wondering, I was like, when was the last time I read it? And I realized, oh yeah, August the 22nd. So up to date Tower of God. It's got 3 seasons, 550 chapters. God damn. It is quite long. It's very long, actually. It's one of the longer ones here. But you really do feel like you grow with the characters, with the universe, with the lore, and you just want to see more. Only thing I can say about Tower of God is there are times where you forget you're reading Tower of God because you're following some other people. And you're like, oh snap, I'm reading Tower of God. And then Rachel. I was gonna say, F that bitch, man. I can't stand her. So yeah. So Tower of God, I put into coins were used and will recommend because they were used. And if you don't mind long stories, then yeah, you put it there. And if you, to be honest, if you don't care about the art, you might put it into the S tier, into the God tier. But I'm gonna put it into the A tier for now, because I still believe I enjoyed Odyssey and the Boxer more than Tower of God, but I enjoyed Tower of God more than everything else below it. So that's kind of there for that. Okay, I think we've got ordeal we've got multiple times. So we've now got the build up. Sorry, my phone's going off. This one, once again, I think I only read a couple chapters. I don't really know much about it, so I'm going to put it down there. But I did read it, but as you can tell right now, I've got so many different things there that it didn't really stand out to me. But I do remember just something about it, so I'm going to put it down. I know you're probably thinking, so why even have it on the list? I'm having it in this list because I'm sure some of you have read it and might put it into a different place. So this isn't the correct list. This is my list. All right. Okay. Next. Oh, we got 3 freaking gems. All right. Hanlin's gem. Oh my god, I said gem and I went to Hanlin's gem. Hanlin's gem. I'm gonna put here in coins were used. This one, I use my coins all the freaking time. For reals, like, it's actually embarrassing how many coins I've used in Hanlin's gym. The only reason why I won't put it in God tier is just because I still think I enjoyed the Boxer a bit more. Hanlin's gym it's basically like a PvP player versus player situation where there's like underground street tournaments that if you're good enough you can level up and then you can earn points, battle points, which will allow you to then battle people who are in higher battle points, earn more money, and things like that. It sounds kind of like a fight club, which pretty much is a fight club, but you don't talk about it's Fight Club. It's freaking Fight Club. The characters are cool. I like the darkness behind it. There's quite a bit of despair. The art isn't necessarily the greatest, but it gets you hooked. So Hanlin's gym, yeah, I'll put in coins we're using, will recommend, but it may not be for everyone just because of some of the themes it goes into a little bit. But talking about that, we've got 2 left. My camera's about to die soon, so I shall try and make this a fairly quick. But the 2 that we've got left is we've got Lookism, which I want to put into God tier because of a lot of the different. Actually, I'm putting God tier. I was thinking about it, but where am I on Lookism? Sorry, I was really deep in it. Yeah, that I actually love Lookism. Like I think I've spoken about Lookism quite a few times to like a lot of my friends. Yep. I was gonna chat shit. Look at that. I am up to date with Lookism. So I'm on chapter 429 of Lookism. I'm gonna read Lookism after I finish this video. So that just says a lot. If you don't know about Lookism, I made a video about the trio of Lookism. That was the first video on this channel. So that lets you know that I give a shit about Lookism. Lookism is there. Oh man. It is up there. Do you know what it is with Lookism? The side characters are so freaking epic. The mystery is so cool. Gun, James Lee, just like the burn knuckles. Do you know what I'm talking? Do you know what the fuck I'm talking about? No. But there's something about Lookism. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. The only reason why it's got me second guessing is because we still have Ordeal, and I can honestly say I enjoyed Ordeal a bit more than Lookism, but at the same time I enjoy Lookism more than everything else on the other tiers. So I think this is my tier. So in the God tier, we have LSE, The Boxer, Lookism, and Ordeal. So these are all for action webtoons. In the coins were used, which is kind of like A, we have the Advanced Player, Jungle Juice, Study Group, Viral Hit, Tower of God, and Hannon's Gym. I'm trying to think if there's any of them that I should bring down. No. Then in the not so guilty pleasure, we have Omniscient Reader, Get Schooled, God of High School, Unordinary, and The Gamer. Good at First / guilty pleasure will be The Strongest Florist, and then I have not read enough / I put down Purple Hyacinth, The Alternate Character, and The Build Up. Now I know there are more webtoons, action webtoons that I haven't got on here because I haven't read them, so I'm not gonna fucking lie. As in the others, even though I haven't read enough, I have read them. It's just I didn't like them enough to put them more. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It took me a while to make this, and not even just film it, but to actually make this freaking thing and get everything all set together. And I would love to do a tier list of just more tier lists of other stuff. So what other webtoons, action webtoons do you recommend? Leave it in the comment section, the ones that you recommend. You don't give spoilers, but kind of let me know, be like, Chris, you have to read this, whatever, or Chris, you missed out these action webtoons, and then in a part 2 I will then basically add it to this list and then move them around to the correct place, especially if I feel like I might put them in the wrong order. But yeah, so this was a lot of fun to make. I know this is quite different. I say quite different. This is the second video on the channel, so there's nothing different about it.